Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a powerful idea that pretty much flips the script on everything we've been taught about success. It starts with a simple fact. Life isn't fair. And that might just be the best news you hear all day, if you know how to use it.
Okay, let's just jump right in with a statement that might sting a little. We're all told, right? Hustle harder, outwork the competition, grind it out. But what if that's not actually the secret sauce? What if the real key to success is something else entirely? That's the billion-dollar question, isn't it? If it's not about pure effort, then who is winning? Well, according to the authors of The Unfair Advantage, the answer is pretty straightforward. Success goes to the people who can see, understand, and then use their own unique set of advantages. But before we can even start to look for our own advantages, we've got to talk about the myths. You know, the stories we've all been sold about what it takes to make it. Our culture kind of bounces between two big ideas. On one hand, you have meritocracy, the dream that if you just work hard enough, you'll get there. And on the other hand, you have fatalism, this idea that it's all just random, dumb luck, so why even bother? But the truth, as it usually is somewhere in the middle. Let's make this real for a second. Take a look at this number. $1 billion. That's the net worth that Evan Spiegel, the guy who co-founded Snapchat, hit when he was just 24 years old. We call him a self-made billionaire. But was it really all him? Not exactly. His journey wasn't just a great idea and a lot of late nights. He was basically launched from a rocket ship of privilege. I mean, think about it. He grew up in a multi-million-dollar home with powerful parents, went to Stanford. This gave him a direct line to top investors, tech CEOs, and even personal mentorship from the founder of Intuit. These are connections most people work their entire lives just to get a sniff of. And you know the most interesting part of this whole story? Spiegel himself says it. He's completely open about it. He knows he got lucky. He knows that his success wasn't just about his own effort. And that honesty brings us right to the main event. So, what exactly is an unfair advantage? Let's break this whole concept down. Now, let's be super clear. This isn't about cheating or being unethical. Not at all. An unfair advantage is simply a competitive edge that is unique to you. It's the thing that gives you a real, and yes, sometimes unearned, leg up on everybody else. And here's why they're so powerful. You can't just go out and buy these things. They're not for sale. Think of it this way. Being 7 feet tall is a massive unfair advantage in basketball. You can't buy height, right? It's the same idea. These advantages are baked into who you are and where you came from. Okay, this all sounds great in theory, but how in the world do you figure out what your own advantages are? Well, this is where a really simple but really powerful framework comes into play. The authors gave us this fantastic tool to help us do a kind of personal audit. It's an acronym, and it's called MILES, and it helps you break down your advantages into 5 key areas of your life. So MILES stands for money, intelligence and insight, location and luck, education and expertise, and finally, status. These 5 buckets pretty much cover the whole spectrum of advantages you could possibly have. And you can see right here how this stuff plays out in the real world. For money, you've got Kylie Jenner, who could fund her own cosmetics line from day one. For insight, there's Tristan Walker, whose personal frustration led him to create a shaving brand for people of color. Even luck, something that seems so random, Oprah's incredibly difficult past gave her a kind of empathy that no one else could touch. Let's just double-click on one of these for a second. S for status, because it's way more than just being rich. Sure, there's money, what sociologists call economic capital, but there's also social capital. That's who you know. And then there's the really subtle one, cultural capital. That's knowing the unwritten rules of the game. And this right here is a perfect, almost painful example of that cultural capital in action. There was a study that found top investment banks were turning down perfectly qualified candidates because they wore the wrong color shoes to the interview. It wasn't about their smarts, it was about not knowing the code. That is an unfair advantage or disadvantage at play. Okay, so we've busted the myth and we have the framework. Now for the really important bit. What does any of this mean for you? You've all heard that famous quote from Archimedes, right?
Give me a lever long enough, and I shall move the world. Well, your unfair advantages, those are your levers. Finding them is how you stop trying to lift the world with your bare hands and start using a tool that multiplies your effort. It's how you work smarter. And this right here, this might be the most critical mindset shift of all. The things you see as your biggest weaknesses, your greatest disadvantages, they can often be flipped. They can become the source of your most powerful strengths. It's all about how you look at it. I mean, just look at Oprah. A traumatic childhood, poverty, being a total outsider, these are profound disadvantages. But what did they forge in her? A deep, unshakable empathy, an incredible drive to succeed, and a relatability that allowed her to connect with millions of people in a way that no one else could. Her disadvantage became her most powerful unfair advantage. Or what about Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx? She failed her law school exams twice, got rejected for a job playing Goofy at Disney World, and spent 7 years selling fax machines door to door. But it was her unique experience as a woman, an outsider in the male-run apparel world, that gave her the insight to see a problem and create a billion-dollar solution. So look, the goal here is not to complain that the game is rigged. The point is to accept that it is, and then figure out how to rig it in your favor. It's an empowering call to action. Audit your own life with total honesty and find your unique assets. Look, your success isn't just one thing. It's a huge combination of factors. But this whole unfair advantage concept, it helps you cut through the noise. It helps you stop comparing yourself to what everyone else has and start building on the foundation that only you possess. So I'll leave you with that one simple question. What are your unfair advantages? Forget what everyone else is doing for a minute. Look inward. Go through the Miles framework. Is it your money, your unique insight, your location, your education, your status? Because finding your levers and actually pulling on them, that is the real secret. That's how you stack the deck in your favor.